Y'all, this is our first ever 4-part series of a podcast, of the podcast. Y'all ready for it? 77 flavors.
Ready or not, here we come.
I don't think Sarah's ready. Just not ready. You're not trying to answer questions today? What's going on?
I was taking a sip of my drink.
Non-sponsored drink, by the way. Look at you, trying to get your mic set up.
I was just trying to lift it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What's going on?
Welcome back to another episode of 77 Flavors. If you're new here, welcome. We do this every week.
Let me go ahead and give you your coin real quick.
Thank you. We do this every week. Just Dari likes to give out coins for no reason. And we cover different topics about Chicago, a lot of Chicago history. It's a fun time. We have fun.
Well, what the hell y'all been at if you ain't heard of us? I'm not no ego, but just saying.
If you're not new here, welcome back. We're so happy you're here. If you're, whether you're new or this is your first time, I implore you to leave a review, hit that plus sign, do all the things that you're supposed to do. Subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, it helps push our content into the algorithm and more people can find us. So you don't have to text people links if you don't want to, which is fine. I don't want to text people links either sometimes.
I mean,
so just, do what you can, leave a little review so that people can find us.
Absolutely.
But we're happy you're here.
Yep.
If you want to learn more about what we do, check out our website, 77flavors.org.
Yeah.
Up and running, baby.
That's a beautiful website, too.
Yeah.
We've been getting really compliments on that bad boy. Yeah.
Costs thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, tens of thousands.
Better.
Yeah. Better look
Our
good.
designers did a great job.
So did. Shout out to Cassidy and
Sierra.
Yeah.
How was your week?
Good. It was a great week. Look at me as I look at me like, what the hell did I do?
What did I do this week?
Got a lot of stuff going on.
We one of our friends, his name is Matt. He has a Substack that we were featured on this week.
Yeah.
I link it in the show notes. Oh, also, if you listen to this podcast on Apple or Spotify, you're not seeing the show notes that I'm talking about unless you click the show notes link. Yeah. You can subscribe to our Substack. It's completely free, and it's a deep dive into what we talk about, basically all of our sources, more pictures, like all the cool stuff that if you want to see more. Yeah. And if you want to hear from me, I write it every single week, and it's kind of like my insight into what's happening. Sometimes I do it.
Nice little summary if you like reading too.
Right. And there's more information in there sometimes that we couldn't get to in the episode. Yeah. So you can subscribe to it through our Substack, and I will link the Substack in the actual show notes feed that you're looking at if you're on Spotify or Apple. But or Matt, and if you go to our Substack, I've restacked that article. It was so fun. We talked about food and Chicago food and food in general,
how it connects.
Yeah, and what we've learned through traveling through the 77 community areas and about Chicago and Chicago food and history and how all those things intertwine. So it's a really nice. We're so glad that he reached out. It was so generous of him to let us
let us chop it up. Yeah. It's always good to yap. That's what we do.
So we love it.
That's what we do. We love
it's our favorite thing to do.
We're about to yap a lot
today.
Yeah.
Also coming up, if you are looking to come see, which we don't do these, but often, maybe we will.
Yeah, we should.
We are doing a live podcast recording for Kendall College. They are hosting a fundraiser to send their students abroad to learn more about cooking. Yeah. And we're going to be there kind of interviewing the chefs that have prepared the meal, kind of entertaining you, dinner and a show, if you may.
Yeah.
And we're the show. Yeah. So if you're, it's not necessarily all going to be Chicago history. There'll be like a trivia portion, but it's really fun.
Live feed is going to be fun, man.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Something fun, interacting with people. Like, normally I ask a question, how you doing? Yeah. And I don't get no response except for you, what I mean? But I'm talking to the people.
Exactly.
Now they right there in front of me. I always like that. And it's just fun to It's
so fun.
Engage.
And yeah, you can buy the tickets to
open to everybody.
It is open to everyone. Yeah. Tickets are limited, so if you do want to come and support them, please do.
Yes. What else we do? What else we got?
We did a solidarity shopping day in Chinatown with the city clerk.
Yeah, man, I wish I was there for the whole day. Yeah,
we had to leave early.
We did have to leave because we did the long day. But Those are always fun and it's growing. That's what that's what I like to see. A lot of people are coming out to these things more and over. This is probably our fourth or fifth one. I think we've been to 3 of the 5 or so. But
the next one's in Pilsen.
Yeah, and it's cool because you are really little stimulus, little shot in the arm, visibility, more importantly,
right?
To the businesses that's out there in the neighborhoods. We went to Chinatown, and
we're basically putting money back into the community, and specifically communities that are targeted by ICE or communities that are seeing like a drop in business because of ICE and fear of being outside. So we're always happy to spend our money.
What was cool with this one is, one of the leaders on the walk was an older woman.
Right. Of
Chinatown. And now we talked about her dad as, Chinatown used to have what's deemed like the mayor of Chinatown, kind of like what Bronzeville did.
The unofficial mayor.
Unofficial mayor, but the mayor, the person that is most looked up to in the community. And we talked about him in the podcast a long time ago when we did Chinatown, when we did that. And it's so crazy. She was like,
oh, her dad was the unofficial mayor of Chinatown.
And then we run into the mom just randomly on the street. Her mom, on the street. It was so crazy because we were like, damn, we talked about your dad on our podcast. We've been doing this for a long time. Like we've been at this for a minute.
Yeah.
Where we could run into people and still, man, it's crazy. So,
I know.
Yeah, but that's fun.
Yeah, that same night we went to the Chicago Chef's Cook fundraiser gala.
That's the same night? That's why it's a long day. Man, I'm getting tired thinking about it.
Which that was also really fun. It was 30 chefs that came and kind of cooked throughout the night. It was really special. It's their second one that they've done.
That was only the second one? Mm-hmm. Boy, they grew hand over hand. Yeah. Hand over fist from last year to this year. Woo.
Where does hand over fist come from?
I mean,
what is that? But what does that?
Hand over fist. You close it up like this. That's it. You know what I mean? Like that's the moniker of it. Hand over fist.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And think about it when you hand over fist.
Yeah.
You stop in the fist. But yeah, they had a lot. I think they oversold the tickets too. From what I remember.
It was a good one.
It was oversold.
And then Dario went to the
I love Dodd.
Camera Expo.
Yeah, buddy. That
Tell
was
us
fun.
about that.
It was cool. What was really cool is that I did some pre-work for them where I, talked about trying to get people there, right? But I tied it into Chicago history from 77 page. And
that was like your dream.
Yeah, it was my dream. Are you still in frame?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure your head ain't cut off because I framed it up based on how you were sitting. Just
I sat the same spot.
Oh no! I mean like height wise.
I know you said. I sat
okay.
down the same spot.
But there, it was busy. I mean, they had everybody in there. Like it was everybody. And then they had a guest speaker, a person from YouTube that I've been kind of following for a little while now. He was there, and all the vendors got to talk to Kanan, of course, and try stuff and meet people.
Your besties.
Yeah, it was really fun. But what's cool to me personally is they keep giving me recognition. I don't know if I deserve the recognition, but as helping them out, push.
I mean, you
and
deserve
boost.
The recognition.
I mean, look, I don't know.
If they're giving it to you, why would you say no?
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I don't know if I deserve it. I didn't say no. I ain't say that.
No, guys.
No. I said bet, but
Yeah.
No, it was cool. But because when I was there, it was a lot of people. It was crazy to be recognized from the Dodd video. People coming to me like, I seen you from the video. But
people probably saw the video. Like
yeah. But like no. Normally I get it. Oh, you the guy from the history. It was like, man, I saw you on Dodd. So I was like, that's wild, man.
Yeah,
like,
you love that store.
Yeah,
that's like your home goods.
Yeah, it is my home goods. Like home goods. It's my Toys R Us. That's my old head. You got to relate to me a little bit better than that. Home goods.
I'm relating you to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, we did something fun last week that I kind of want to do again. We did a hot take. We do it every Tuesday on our Instagram. If you or follow us on socials. But do you have a hot take for this week?
Do I have a hot take for this week?
I did my hot take last week.
I mean, me too. I did my hot take too.
What was your hot take?
The people that sneeze, but then
that was my hot take.
The pothole one too. You forgot. I did the pothole. I said the 18th Street potholes. It's the worst street. It's the worst street in the. That was the hot take.
Do you have one for this week?
Let me see. I had some hot takes. I need to write these down because I can't remember. You go ahead if you got one before me because I can't remember honestly.
You have so many opinions. I'm shocked.
I know. That's why I'm like I can't remember this stuff. Like you get put on the spot. It's hard.
I think ice cream is okay in every season. I don't think ice cream should be exclusively a summer flavor. I think if you own an ice cream shop, you should be making winter flavors.
What's a winter flavor? Mint?
Turnip.
Ain't nobody eat no turnip as
Here's the
ice
thing.
cream.
That's not for me to figure out. Jenny's, they got it. They can figure out.
Jenny's got turnip ice cream?
No, they just got ice cream. Like they make these. One of my favorites is like a cherry goat cheese ice cream. They make some good combos of flavors, so they can figure out a winter flavor. I mean, but like, don't give me peppermint. I think peppermint is like the second hot take. Peppermint is the worst dessert flavor.
I don't know, man. Peppermint
is disgusting. Anything with mint in dessert, disgusting.
I agree on the mint.
I'll take mint, fresh mint on like a lemon sherbet, but like, I don't want peppermint bark. I don't want peppermint chocolate. I don't want peppermint anything. It's so weird.
Yeah. Peppermint is weird. I don't like it. But the worst though?
Oh God, it's so bad.
What's
worse than peppermint?
Licorice.
No,
licorice
I
is
like
trash.
Licorice.
Oh my God, licorice is
Here's
horrible.
the thing, licorice is like, it's not sweet to me.
It ain't good either.
No, it's good. I like licorice.
What's good about licorice?
It's just so like odd. But
Yeah,
I like
is.
weird. I like odd flavors.
You do.
Peppermint in dessert, like I don't mind mint and peppermint. Like don't get me wrong, I like mint.
Yeah.
But I think mint in dessert.
Yeah.
And specifically with white chocolate.
Yeah.
Shoot me.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
mint white chocolate is like my two least favorite. Stop calling white chocolate. Step one.
What is it?
It's just like cream.
Cream.
There's zero chocolate in white chocolate.
Yeah.
Like actually, there's no cocoa, like nothing.
I don't really like white chocolate like that.
No one should like white chocolate.
You know what? As you was thinking, we talk about food. This is one of my hot takes.
Man, I have so many hot takes.
Yeah, it's just one that just look. I think I brought this up before, but if you got an egg on your sandwich, on your burger,
I know
you doing too much. Your burger can't hold its own. That's my thing.
An egg on a burger. I don't necessarily love an egg.
It don't need to be on there. An egg on a burger is
especially an over. Here's the thing: as a person that orders my eggs always either sunny side up or over easy, I think a runny egg on a sandwich is disastrous.
It's doing way too much. The burger don't. If you need to do that to like all that theatrics for a burger, man, that burger.
I'm okay with theatrics, but an egg is like too much. Yeah. It's just like it ruins the experience.
Well, here's the difference between an egg on a burger and like other wild stuff on a burger. The other wild stuff know it's wild.
Yeah.
These eggs on burgers now is like a gourmet thing. Like it ain't like that ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Who's the first person to do that?
Why did the first person do that? Is the better question. What you were that bored and you were like, you know what?
Let me put an egg on here.
Let's go ahead and throw an egg on this bad boy.
And then like an over easy egg.
It get worse and worse the more you keep talking about it.
It just
it's just
goes
horrible
everywhere.
It's just horrible.
You're not having a scrambled egg.
No, because then it ain't even about the burger. The egg done became the main character. Trash.
It's true.
Trash. I'm sorry. That's my hot take. It's my random one. You know what I'm saying?
That was very, very fierce too.
It is because it get on my goddamn nerves.
Okay.
Anyway, let's just go ahead and jump into today's topic. I can't wait, man. Yeah. That is actually a good reset, low key.
Yeah.
That's a good reset. I take a deep breath. I'd be like gathering my thoughts like, okay, we about to lock in and tell this history.
Strap in, strap on.
Yeah.
Strap up.
It's wild.
Any kind of strap.
No. This is crazy. Y'all, we talk about the plan of Chicago.
I'm so excited for this one.
Yes, me too.
Let me tell you our plan for the plan of Chicago.
Okay.
This is
I like
a 4-part four-part series that we're going to do on the plan of Chicago because there's a lot, and I really I want to do it justice. Also, this is our show; we can do whatever we want. But other than that, I want you to get all of the information. No, and I'm doing this for you. But I want you to get all this information.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't want to condense it and because we got time.
Yeah, we got time. Nothing but time.
Yeah, we went to all 77.
Yeah,
we can do whatever we want now.
You know what? Hot take. I'm tired of people not knowing that we started out as a podcast.
If I meet one more person that's like,
when did you make the transition? Oh my goodness!
Start doing history. Don't piss me off.
Stop it. We always been doing. Anyway, yeah. Continue. I'm sorry.
That was so
Random.
unrelated.
It was unrelated.
Yeah, because it happened like twice this week. That's why.
That's why. Yeah.
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 But just to give you an idea of like what is the Plan of Chicago, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about the 1909 Burnham Plan of Chicago.
That boy right here.
This plan came about with Daniel Burnham as kind of like the main architect, and he brought along Edward Bennett in 1906. It covered a lot of things. It covered, which we will dig into all of these as the episodes go on, but improving the lakefront, creating a highway system, improving the railway terminals, kind of creating the park system, arranging the streets and the grid of the city, and developing centers that were kind of, about intellectual life, arts, culture, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was presented in 1909, right? So let's talk about, I kind of wanted to, before we even get to the plan, I kind of wanted to talk about how does a plan like this come about?
Yeah. Well, I do want to say, too, we went to the Newberry Library and we had the original copy of the Plan of Chicago, too.
The original, like, published
copy. They only made 1,600 of them. We had
like
687,
671,
something like that. Yeah,
something like that. It was like a bound published book at that point, as the Plan of Chicago that was published in June of 1909.
Yeah. So this one right here is just an obviously centennial reprint.
If you're not watching, Dario was pointing at the book that is the Plan of Chicago. It was the copy we have is the centennial edition.
Yeah.
And
centennial as in 100 years. Yeah.
Yes. So
2009.
It has the same original content, obviously, just a new format. You know how editions work. I don't need to explain that to you. But when I was looking at like where does this idea come from, it really starts in that like late 1800s into the early 1900s with something called the City Beautiful movement. Okay. And it was really interesting because Daniel Burnham was at the forefront of this movement. It was
really
during
about that life.
Yeah. It was during the progressive era, which is the 1890s to the 1920s. And it started out with, because the population of the country quickly moved from rural and agriculture to urban and industrial. I think it was like by 1910, something like 46% of the population lived in what was at the time considered an urban environment where like 2,500 or more people lived in the same area. So like it wasn't like your closest neighbor was like 3 miles away anymore. Right. Like you lived in a town.
Yep.
And at the time that's considered like more urban than it is like rural, right? Because you had these obviously we have like the railway systems coming about, and it's just a huge boom. And with that huge boom came the separation of the classes, because you had people like investors in railways that suddenly became even more wealthy than they ever were. And as the Industrial Revolution came about and people became wealthier, that gap just became wider.
Keep on getting bigger.
Yeah, exactly. And Daniel Burnham was, he was credited with the City Beautiful movement. And this is a quote, it was a reform of the landscape that would complement the Burgoyne reforms of other areas of society, which basically means that his idea was that if we make places beautiful, people are going to behave differently. So if you live in a city that's run down, you're going to continue behaving like a peasant.
Right.
But like truly, that's kind of
that's what happens.
And basically, what he was saying is that it was him and like all the rich white men that wanted like better cities because they were living in these cities.
Yeah.
And so they wanted just nicer things. They wanted parks. They wanted art. They wanted culture. They did not want what was like mostly like Chicago pre-fire, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Like it was a lot of like
taverns,
very,
drunk
very,
people,
and it was just super rapid growth. That was almost like there was no structure. Everything was arbitrary. They were just building so that they can accommodate the population boom. But there was no actual kind of plan for how things were going to look. And so they split into two things. You had the City Beautiful movement, and at the same time, you had the kind of civic reform movement, which was like the Jane Addams, the Hull House. They were building these kind of like societal infrastructure where you can improve the civic life of people, giving people rights, teaching them about, giving women rights, all that kind of stuff. Those happened hand in hand. Slightly different groups of people, obviously, specifically economically.
Yeah.
But they were still within the wealthy.
Right.
They were like the movements came within the wealthy. And this all was a result or kind of like a response to a ton of pushback from the like bottom, I would say like
The low level,
80%,
the low class. Yeah.
not low class.
They were lower. Shit,
The people that we're not talking about like specifically class division here. We're talking about people that like economically were not able to survive basically in the city. So because we had the Haymarket riots in 1886, we had the Pullman strike in 1893, the Homestead strike in 1892, and the general labor unrest, which was 1893 to 1897. So as a pushback to that, the wealthy white men were like, let's make the city prettier so people can behave better. And it was kind of funny is I was thinking of, I was at a Home Depot and I was like, why do they play classical music out here? And I looked it up and it was because they believe that if they play classical music in the parking lot, it deters kind of like
crime.
Yeah. Or like people acting like,
Right.
doing stuff in the parking lot that they don't want them to be there.
Right.
So the main people that were like these City Beautiful leaders, it was, let's see, I wrote down the list of names because I could guess who the people were just by the work that was being done. But it was Pullman, Marshall Fields, like those were the people that were involved.
The merchants.
The people that were making money. They were the ones that wanted it.
That's
and
key.
they started the Merchant Club, which later merged to the Commercial Club of Chicago in 1907. The Commercial Club of Chicago was started in 1877. And it started as a response or a reaction to the labor strikes. And the members, Pullman Marshall, Cyrus McCormick, George Armour, just to name a few.
Yeah, just random names.
Yeah, just random people.
Boy, man, I could imagine the egos in that room.
Yeah.
They was probably all cool though,
Yeah,
except for when Glessner came around.
they didn't. He was not on the list.
Pullman didn't like his ass.
Yeah,
Ugly ass house.
yeah. For real. The first time this was expressed, this idea of a City Beautiful movement was expressed in the U.S. was at the World's Columbian Exposition in 1893. So these ideas were already happening in Britain, in France, and it was, and I will butcher this, but damn, I wrote it down, and it's like the School of Beaux-Arts, okay, BAUX Arts. I don't know. That's the name of the like architecture style, art style. It was already happening in France and Britain. And Burnham was like, we could bring this to the US. And so when he was designing the World's Fair, he basically had that in mind. He was like, I am going to build them a city and show them what Chicago could look like. And so it kind of made like the World's Columbian Exposition became the trend for like the next 15 years. People started to recreate what the white city looked like, quote unquote. And this later kind of infiltrated interior design. You started seeing this happening in interior design. One specific example that I will include pictures of is the Hull House. And you can see inside the Hull House, kind of Jane Addams took on this idea, not took on, but like inside the Hull House, it's credited where the arts and crafts movement was born, which really kind of pushed for, high craftsmanship, believing that like industrial capitalism is kind of like ruining life or the spirit of human, as they would call it. And so they would train people in woodwork. They would train people in weaving and ceramics and bookbinding. So like to preserve these arts that are considered, we're going to add to like the value of human life.
Yeah.
So it was all happening at the same time. People were rioting because they could not buy food, they couldn't buy anything, and the reaction of the rich was like, what if we just make it prettier and maybe they'll chill,
Right.
and maybe they'll start acting to up to par with the city they're living in, kind of thing. Did that really happen? We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like where the tension was, and that's how
Where
it started.
Yeah. And so I'm just gonna add on and then transition to like the what how did it all come together and how did it go down? Right. This first part. And the reason why we're doing this in parts is because the plan was written in parts.
Yeah.
And how they broke down certain things was written in parts. So this part, believe it or not, I really wouldn't have thought of this plan like this as and you know, we had this book for a little while and we seen it, but like we ain't really pay attention to it. I'll be honest with you. In all our studies and everything like that. But like it really started with the city and the garden idea.
Yeah.
Like actually coming to fruition.
And that's like when they looked at Paris,
Yeah.
it was like a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it.
I know you're gonna get to it. I'm just
I know that's key. That's a key point. So the population in Chicago from the really it was like 3,000 from if we want to go to first quarter of the 19th century to on out to the 20th, it was about 3,000. But the back half of it was about 30,000 people in Chicago grew to 2 million. So obviously the boom is on, right?
It's
you know,
insane.
you got a 50 year boom where you went from peanuts to like everything, everybody all at once. And so they understood this need, like Sarah was saying. Chicago was also referred to the Middle West. And so this was also like we understood.
I mean, it still is Midwest.
Right.
We just say mid instead of middle.
Right. They knew where Chicago stood economically and strategically to a lot of different things in the United States.
Specifically with the rail system.
Yes. And so we were like, hey, look, we need to use this to our advantage, basically is what it is. And after the World's Fair, you know, during the World's Fair, you really see that this could work. You know what I mean? Like that's where all this came together. It was like, okay, you know, we done put up all these plaster buildings. We got 27 million people come through here. We done set the day record of 750,000 people coming to one place. So you see all these things, you know, made a lot of money. You paid off the World's Fair in cash. You paid it off.
Yeah.
So you're like, we could do this.
And it was like that main area where everyone would enter.
Yes.
That was like the main kind of blueprint for what they wanted to do.
Yes. Right after the World's Fair, 94, right? 1894, is when they really started this process. It really started to actually wheels moving now.
Yeah.
And the reason why that is another key player here was the South Commission's Park, which was Jackson Park, Washington Park, all the parks out south. And after the World's Fair, they said, hey, look, we got a way we should improve the lake. And by improve the lake, we mean we want to go from Jackson Park to Grant Park. And we want to create a greenway that connects it. Yeah. And that was their plan, right? And I'll get to lagoons and things like that because that's kind of interesting. But, you know, to Sarah's point, this is where Burnham is like, okay, all that work that I did do overseas or what I saw overseas, I can do it. And this was actually a very key thing, too, because the Chicago played out. I think we've been told over history, you know, like Chicago was modeled after Paris. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You know what I mean? Like, it was
modeled after a lot of ancient cities, new cities. Like, they really studied. It wasn't like just Paris. It's like they studied all of these cities. Yeah. And they took the best of each one. Yes. Kind of thing.
And so we're talking Rome, Paris, Venice. You know, when you talk about the World's Fair, it was directly exactly like that. Egypt, NYC, and things like that. So what they saw at that World's Fair, and the reason why they said this is they saw the spirit of Chicago. Now that's key because that's what's in the book. Yeah. Spirit of Chicago. And not just...
It was mentioned so many times.
It was. And not just, you know, you don't want to write something down and like pitch something to somebody that's lofty, but they literally tried to like say, hey, there was something about the city obviously we already told you about the I will spirit
Yeah.
of Chicago. You know what I mean? Like that spirit must have resonated like crazy down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? During that time. And so that was one of the things. And then obviously the ability to grow and thrive. I want to read you a direct quote from the book here. And because this is like, man, is on page 8 of the book here. The spirit, it says, the spirit of Chicago is our greatest asset. It is not merely civic pride. It is rather the consistent, steady determination to bring about the very best conditions of the city life for all people, with the full knowledge that we as a people decide to do in public interest, we can, what we can and surely will bring to pass. So they were saying, hey, look, we betting on ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what that was. This next step, we doing it. We doing it, and it's because of this is where Chicago's ego started from.
Right.
It's Chicago's ego started right here, and we've been new, but like this was literally it. Now, I said the Chicago parks were key. I mean, majorly key here, y'all, and that's why this episode is about the Chicago parks, really. So the Herbs and Orto mentality, as we know, was just a model that was given to Chicago, and we really didn't do nothing about it. We really didn't do nothing about it. In the plan of Chicago, they actually say that. They say, now you say Herbs and Orto, but like nothing been done to do that. Matter of fact, I think it was 1839. It's in the book here, but 1839, right where the cultural center is now, according to this book, that was the public library. There was one park across at Michigan Avenue.
Right.
That one park. It wasn't until 69 when they added Jackson Park, Washington Park, all them other parks. Think about that. That's crazy that all those other parks took 3 decades to get there.
And I mean, so did the plan. Like it wasn't like we're doing this in 1909, we'll be done in 1910.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
we're still doing the plan. We're still doing plans. So yeah, in 1894, South Park Commission said, hey, we want to make a new plan, right?
Yeah.
The plan was to connect the two parks. This plan was presented at a dinner given by the Commercial Club. Yep. Now, remember, at this point, Commercial Club and the Merchant Club, 2 different things. The businessmen thought immediately, they were like, yo, this is a good plan.
Yeah.
This is a great plan. We want to do it. And the reason why they wanted to do it, they saw it was enormous value to Chicago and that it should be adopted and carried into execution. So they were like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So
they had the money. Bring back rich people
that want to do something good.
Infrastructure.
That want to do something good.
I don't want I'm not going to talk about AI. I don't want any more rockets going into space.
Man,
build a library.
Forget the rockets, man. I'm tired of AI taking up all these chips for these memory cards here. You know, we can't buy a damn memory card for under $1,000 now.
Or have drinking water.
That's crazy. That's out of control. So from after 1894, the next 3 to 4 years, we're planning and presenting the plan to do this. Okay, y'all. It was like it was big maps, big things. Everybody's saying, all right, look, this is how we're gonna go about it. And they met at the Women's Club. Yep. We just talked about the Women's Club. Now, this is 1897, 8, you know? So not quite 1918. So it wasn't at the building we were talking about, but it was probably at Bertha Palmer's, at the Palmer House. It was probably at the Palmer House or Grand Pacific. Hotel. I didn't even say that last episode. I remember I watched back. I was like, damn, I never even mentioned they were at the Grand Pacific Hotel. Yeah. But it was probably at one of those 2 places. So, and not only the Women's Club, but the Art Institute. Remember, the Art Institute was brand new. And it had just moved to Michigan Avenue now, to that new building. And this dinner was presented with the Merchant Club.
Right.
The Merchant Club was a little bit different than the
commercial,
but really same damn thing.
Yeah. I mean, they merged.
Yeah, the merchants were, the people that sold, and the commercial were the people that did the big things. You know what I'm saying?
And eventually, the commercial was like, "Come here, come here." Well, commercial actually merged a bunch of different clubs.
They did.
Yeah.
That dinner where this meeting was held at the Chicago Auditorium, y'all.
Yeah.
It was. That's crazy. All these things we've been talking about, we just talked about this year, starting this year. Not just started, but relatively recent, so you can go back and listen. This plan was a hit, y'all. This plan was one of those things that people were like, yeah, we want to do this. Let's all, I'm sure, I don't think it was unanimous. I'm sure they had pushback, but
there was pushback from different groups.
Of course.
But internally,
all
these like 10 rich men really
when the people with money
happen.
say this gonna happen, this gonna happen.
It's almost like the opinions of other people did not matter.
Didn't matter.
They were, headstrong.
The newspapers and magazines all wrote about it.
Yeah.
They were like, man, this is the bomb. Now the plan was, get this, y'all. This is crazy. It says, direct quote. The plan was to formulate a metropolitan park system, including an outer belt of parks and parkways, y'all. We talked about
like
the Emerald
Necklace.
We talked about the Emerald Necklace. This is 1909 that this is written in there. And they kind of backdating what they were talking about, right? This plan ultimately started in 1903.
Right.
It's when the holistic plan really came to be.
Yeah.
All the talking is done. All the meetings are planned, are over with. The South Park Commissions and the Special Parks Commission that was created in 1899 by the Cook County Center, they were like, all right, let's do this. Let's start doing it. Now, in 1906, the Merchant Club prepped for a fully thought out plan like that should be proposed. This was held. I got chills just thinking about like reading this. This was held on the newly built rooms located on the rooftop of the Railway Exchange Building, y'all.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff we talk about, like, and we know the history of it, but like reading it, it's like they had just built these things, 1906, 1907.
Yeah.
They just built it. And they said, all right, let's get this plan under control. 1907, like you said, Commercial Club became one Commercial Club. And Commercial Club, if y'all don't know, Commercial Club is the people that put out this book.
Yeah.
They were the funders for this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't know what the railway building is, it's that like the
Santa
Motorola.
Fe. Santa Fe for those old heads.
Yeah.
Motorola for the current people. It's crazy that most people, when you say Motorola, be like, when you say the Santa Fe building,
right,
old heads be like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, another quote. I want to read you another quote here because this is very, very key. Parks, gardens, commons, and public squares have been happily compared to the lungs of the city. And if the health and general welfare of a city depends upon the normal and sound function of its respiratory organs, ancient Rome, in this respect, must be considered as the healthiest city which has ever existed on earth. And the reason why I wrote that quote down is just to show you, they were locked into this ancient city. In there, I didn't write this down. They wanted to make Chicago literally the best of the best. Take every bit of people. You got to imagine that these people with money thought they could make a city so great.
Like, it would rival ancient Rome.
We got all the plans, but I'm not mad at that. I mean, like if you go,
I'm not either.
Imagine if people came together now to make a good city. They are coming together to make their version of it.
I do think that, if I'm being honest, like I do think Chicago is it's one of like the best planned out
100%
cities. Are there areas where we can improve? Yeah, duh, because like it's human beings at the end of the day. But it's just like the perfect combo of like lake, nature, parks, infrastructure, downtown, neighborhoods, like all that kind of stuff. I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad. And I'm glad you said that because like I want to take this next couple minutes and talk about like, so now we know that the gardens, like that was their main thing. That was point A. Literally, this is how we're going to start because they thought that Chicago only is going to get better with, parks and with public space and with the ability to like stretch our arms out. We talked about this with Reese Park. Yeah. It stood up straight. That's crazy.
I wish we caught that on camera.
That's why I wish we did too. But so we talked about Reese,
Yeah.
who was
I was just gonna say that.
he was the man. He was the one. He said, hey, look, people need a place to stretch out. And the way they went about this when they were playing it, Cook County was a big part of this.
Right.
In the plan, they verbatimly said they wanted to they feel Chicago could be the largest city in the world. And when you look at the plan, because this thing got all kind of maps and stuff in it, it's got everything in there, like old diagrams of what they thought things were going to look like, the plan. And, they're supposed to be centered around a central civic center, which is downtown Chicago.
Right.
That was supposed to be like a little circle that branched off from Grant Park. Grant Park was actually the center, was supposed to be the centerpiece. And you see that they said this is going to fan out. They were buying up parks like crazy, all the way to we talking Kenosha. They wanted to go over that as far as that, looking at getting land over there. They were talking all the way down towards Kankakee and all that area. So
Yeah.
They were trying to make Chicago big, and it all stemmed from the lungs of the city being the parks. Now, back to Reese and how strongly they felt about parks. Another quote here. The average, and this is a quote, but this is more so numbers that they were presenting, because that's all this book was presenting facts. The average for the entire city as of 1909 is 590 persons to each acre of park. Now think about it. So every acre of park,
It's 590 people.
590 people is right. It's close by that. For the health and good order, there should be 1 acre of park for each 100 people. So think about how big that. Think about that. 1 acre per 100.
That's wild.
They wanted Chicago to be massive, absolutely massive city. And it wasn't like the plan was going, y'all. We're it's 1909 here. We've been talking from 1894 on through. When they started this shit, 1894, they were already all right, we about to make this parkways going, connecting different things. And that's another thing I want to get to. So the gardens and things like that they meant these lagoons. Specifically, one lagoon that was made was the one in Jackson Park. And we all know those lagoons in the docks and piers.
The Marquette Park, Washington Park,
all those were made.
Columbus,
yeah,
I think, right?
Yeah, all those were made to be intentional.
Yeah,
and so y'all go party there. We go not y'all. We hang out.
I love those parks. And I love those lagoons. I think one of my favorite ones is Marquette Park. And if you exit the building, the park building, if you go through the back door, it literally feels like you just stepped outside of the city. People are fishing.
Yeah,
it's
a whole different
so
place.
Peaceful. You don't hear any city noise whatsoever. It's just fascinating to me how these parks work. It's incredible. And I think what's really interesting is at the same time that all of this was happening, obviously people were struggling, like we said, but also New York was talking about how Chicago is full of crime. You know what I mean? Like this was a response to as urban areas grew, more people, more condensed people. Yeah, obviously there's going to be more crime, but it was just fascinating seeing different people's perspective of what the city was like. They were optimistic. They were ready to plan the best city.
Yeah. One more thing before I finish, because I'm not done talking about the lagoons and shit like that, because it is pretty big. Where Museum of Science and Industry is right now, that was the Venice inspiration of Chicago.
Yep.
That part right there was literally supposed to stay.
Yeah.
That was supposed to still be.
Yeah, that was the entryway.
Yeah, that was supposed to be one of Chicago's ways. And the Midway Plaisance, the reason why it is that long strip and Washington Park is because those were supposed to be parts that you can of the greenery that people can hang out and park on. And so you could see this plan. In now today's times actually be what it is. And so I don't think I'm talking about 77. We talk about the history, but knowing this now, I have such a bigger appreciation of things that are historic because that Jackson Park area, Washington Park, Midway Place, Plaisance Park. That's how the plan was started,
Yeah.
and then somewhere along the line we fall off. That's part two of this. That's part two. Somewhere along the line, it got scrambled up. Some big money couldn't.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like wasn't there.
We hit. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
World War.
Yeah, lot of shit start changing right around cars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, Chicago was supposed to be one big park with people living in it, in houses, and the central part of the city was supposed to be, downtown. And for the most part, it is. You know what I'm saying? It is. We still got
Probably
the Emerald
not
Necklace.
as connected as it was planned to be.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But I will give
like
this.
the boulevards are like the biggest
exactly what I was
part
about to
that
say.
connects the greenery, because like you can go from Logan Square all the way down to the south side through the boulevards, but they're not as connected as the plan
Now here's
anticipated.
a part that is a little controversial, but it ain't controversial because it's written in the book here. The south side is where the parks really, really kicked off.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about like what really kicked off, so we know that the North Lincoln Park was North Park.
Yep.
It wasn't called Lincoln Park. It was
Right.
North Park. That was changed after in 1867, after the assassination, whenever that was. And then the other parks, they were already doing their thing. But when it came time to, all right, let's connect all these, because they said let's connect these dots back before the plan, well before the plan. They started with, we got to connect all these.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the plan when they were like, no. These have to be connected together. Like, we have to make this happen.
The Emerald Necklace has to be a necklace.
Yeah, because Chicago, to them, Chicago gonna fail. Health, crime, poverty.
Yeah.
People are just gonna be angry.
Yeah.
And so, we ain't talking about the other key players, Reese, who helped create it, Jensen, who helped create,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about that. All these are people that were solicited by Daniel Burnham
to kind of create the parts of the plan that they specialized in.
And every bit of this of Chicago parks that you see today was the plan.
Yeah.
From the boathouses to the field houses to the bathrooms to the everything. So when we talk about, when you go to Garfield Park, when you go to Washington Park, when you go to all these parks, that was intentional. Lincoln Park, including Lincoln Park.
Yeah,
for
sure.
I have to. When you go
even
to these
like
old,
it's so funny. Like when we used to live in Lincoln Park, one of my favorite places to go to was North Pond.
Yeah.
Which, if you live in the neighborhood, you're very familiar, but like it's not a very well known part of Lincoln Park. When we were looking at these like 1907, 1906, 1908 maps of Chicago, it was listed as like North Lake.
Yeah.
And it's there. It's there. It's always been like, it was manufactured. Obviously, it's not like a natural lake.
What's cool is I was pointing that out, like that there's a little rock, a couple rocks by that park in Lincoln Park that shows you where the shoreline used to be.
Yeah.
That is crazy to see that in real life and then look at it on the map and be like, damn, we added, because like where it is now, you look at that and be like, the lake all the way over there. Yeah, the lake all the way over there. How the hell did we build all that?
Yeah.
And it's just, so to me, it was like amazing doing this first part. And I'll be honest, man, I think we both agree, had no idea how central the parks were to Chicago being created the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know how central it was to the specific plan of Chicago. Like we talked,
We
talked about it when we talked about like the City and Garden episode.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that it was like such a crucial part of the plan.
Starting
of
point
1909. Yeah.
Like when you think about like a plan, you think about like
that was the first thing they talked about.
That was the first thing they talked about. Like they were like, after they did the research and presented the facts of, hey, look, here's all the ancient cities. Here's where we gonna start.
And
like that's crazy.
And I will say that like some of that still rings true. I think, people always look for like a third place, like a place where you can go where you don't have to spend money. You could just go and hang out and like build community, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like over the last like couple of years, the more I've learned about the city, the more I've like taken advantage of those resources, like the library, the parks, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like the parks is probably like people go to Millennium to like do the movies in the park. It's like packed in there. but every single one of your neighborhood parks has programming for free.
Yeah.
Like if you have kids, there's a
Right.
ton of neighborhood programming for free.
Mm-hmm.
And they like all year round, not just during the summer. If there's a field house, there is programming in the field house.
Yep.
Sometimes it costs money, sometimes it's completely free. You can go and sit there for hours.
Yeah.
And you're like at a beautiful park. You can go. I mean, I go and I like sit at the field house for whatever reason. Like I've taken art classes, I've taken ceramic classes, I've met people there. I went to read books. I sat in front of the lake. Like all of it for zero money. Most of it for zero money, not all of it. And I feel like that was part of the plan is to create these resources
open and free to the
for people to like be able to go and like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just like take a breath.
Like everywhere,
you know? Yeah. Like in your neighborhood, you don't have to go far. You should be able to walk to your park.
There's a bunch of illustrations in this book, but one of the illustrations shows you the greenery and how they anticipated Michigan Avenue from 12th Street to Ashland.
Wild.
Man, honestly, we were looking at it and I was like, no, we know. That plan was never going to work.
Yeah.
We could have got close.
Like cars didn't exist in the same
cars didn't
way.
exist. Looking at the plan,
yeah,
cars really weren't a big. They weren't betting on cars the way cars played out.
But like, wait until we start talking about like Wacker.
Oh
and we start talking about the highway. So like, when we get to that part of the plan, I feel like that's going to
they had to compensate for it. Yeah.
I just think it's really fascinating.
Well, part 2 is coming up next episode. So
next week,
yeah,
we're so excited. All right, this was hard to come up with books for this because there's so many.
Yep.
And most are nonfiction. So like a lot of like heavy research books, not heavy, but like research books, like, nonfiction, which I try to sprinkle in some fiction in there because as someone that is like a huge fan of historical fiction.
You like that?
I do like to sprinkle that in, but I'm going to mention a few here, but then I'm going to include an even longer list that's from Cambridge. They have 2 big lists that have to do with specifically the city beauty movement, right? A lot of that time period, 1890s to 1920s, that time frame. First one, the one fiction, kind of fiction, no, nonfiction, Devil in the White City. Obviously, if you want to learn more, if you want to imagine what the world's fairgrounds looked like, that's probably your closest bet.
You know what's funny is like we say kinda because it is kind of fiction, a little more reality.
Yeah.
And the reality part of it that we know for a fact is that we held the pictures that they used for the White City. That's kind of cool.
There's a book by Jacob Rees. It's called How the Other Half Lives. This is based on New York, but it also gives a really good insight into kind of the class disparities that were happening between people of different economic classes and how, it was kind of like people were turning a blind eye to the working class.
He was like, we need more parks because of this.
There's a book called The City Beautiful Movement by William H. Wilson. That's probably like a really good, it touches on Chicago a lot. So it's a great one. Obviously it talks a lot about Burnham. The Working Men's Reward, Chicago's Early Suburbs and Roots of an American Sprawl by Elaine Lewiner. Lee Winner.
Okay.
Lewinner. Again, really kind of talks about the growth of the city and how it moved to like how it annexed and grew. It's an interesting one. On Building the South Side Urban Space and Civic Culture in Chicago, 1890 to 1919 by Robin F.
Bakken.
That's a really interesting one.
Because I was going to say a little bit earlier, man, you could make the case that the plan of Chicago started on the South Side.
I mean,
you can make that case.
You could.
You can make a strong case too. We can make a strong case.
Yeah.
Like all you got to do is read the book. Anybody can make the case.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the World's Fair was set. So it's kind of where they did the blueprint.
Yeah. That's wow. Yeah. I'm still mind blown over this first part. Like honestly, I'm just like that to me. It blows my mind because like you don't think that the city in the garden. It really wasn't a city in the garden. They called them out too. They were like, y'all ain't using the city in the garden. Also, there's a point in there where they were like, Chicago had this, and that. We were number 2. Guess what? We dropped the number 7 after all these people because like y'all ain't did nothing. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the energy when you read it. They like you ain't do none of this stuff that you said you were gonna do.
Right.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So it's I can't wait to keep on going with this. Y'all.
Me too. I'm really excited.
Think about it. We reading you the whole book.
Yeah.
Like
basically,
we reading
along
you the whole
with
book.
other resources.
Yes.
If you want to learn more before we head into the next week's episode, there's a whole episode that we did on Burnham, specifically about his life, where he lived, his house in Evanston. We went and took a tour of his neighborhood, all of that stuff. It's called. It aired February 19th, 2024.
Sheesh.
So go listen to that. I will also link it.
Ago.
I will link it in the show notes. You can also listen to the railways episode that we did January 6th, 2025. That one dives deep into how the city kind of like grew in that time period and the population boom. And if you want to learn more about the park systems and how Chicago parks came about, because it wasn't always, Chicago parks, listen to City in a Garden, which aired March 20th, 2023. And that was a really good one. We went to a bunch of different parks. There's a whole YouTube video on there where we're out in the parks. So it's a good visual too.
That was very fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we was all over city that day.
Yeah.
I was tired. By the end, we ended in Douglas, right?
Columbus. Yeah,
Columbus. We ended in Columbus, yes.
And we made that really cool video where we transitioned from one park to the other.
Almost fell in the damn
lagoon.
slipped in the lagoon.
It wasn't. It was like a little creek.
Yeah, I was at that point. I was tired. It was hot.
No, it was snowy.
It was snow. Yeah, it was snowy.
Yeah, it was snowy.
I had to use the bathroom.
It was March 20th.
I had to use the bathroom.
The field house was closed. It was like a Sunday or something.
Oh
or
my God.
Saturday afternoon.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was. By the end of that, I was like,
It was a great episode.
Great episode. A lot of history.
Yeah.
And doing all 3 sides, the major sides.
Right.
And one.
Yeah, because we had to tell the entire story of the
Lincoln
city and
Park
the garden.
down to Washington, over to the west side, and then back home to Lincoln Park. We did a circle. So.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway. That's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this one. It's a little bit longer, but it was really fun. I can't wait for next week's episode.
Yeah.
Do your homework, listen to the 3 episodes, and come back with ready for that.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode, please send it to someone you love. If you did not enjoy this episode, that's all right. Come back next week and give us another chance.
We're still here.
We'll see you then. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope you loved it.
And if you could, please follow us on social media at 77 Flavors Shy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
If you have any ideas or deep dives that you'd love us to do, please contact us at media@77flavorsshy. That's the number 77 flavors and shy for Chicago.com.
If you like visuals, please subscribe and follow and watch us on our YouTube channel at the same thing, 77 Flavors Shy, or search 77 Flavors of Chicago.
If you would like to support us monetarily, go ahead and click that Buzzsprout link in the description of this episode.
And as always, we gonna see you next week. Peace.